goes back to high school. It was like a smoker's corner out there.
It was. They were in the smoking lounge.
Jeez. All right, we're ready to go. Hard copies. Everybody but Daryl. All right, it being Tuesday, March 5th, 2024, Hannibal City Council Chambers. This is the official city council meeting. Ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Munger.
Here.
Councilmember McCoy. Mayor Pro Tem Dawson.
Here.
Councilmember Rocky.
Present.
Councilmember Phillips.
Here.
Councilmember Welch.
Here.
And Mayor Lauderman.
Here. There being a quorum present, I'll call this to order. Councilman Munger, will you do the invocation, please?
Lord, we just come before you and we thank you that we can gather here. We thank you for blessing this town in so many ways that you have. We ask your wisdom in this meeting and guide us and direct us in all that is done this evening. We thank you. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Councilman Dobson, would you pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I need approval of the agenda for tonight, please.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Approval of minutes for the regular scheduled council meeting, February 20th, 2024.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Need approval of payroll and claims, second half, February 2024.
Motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Comments? Mark, what's on your mind?
First, I'd like to speak to you about cockroaches. My house is infested with cockroaches, not because I have them because I moved in, but because my landlady has allowed, Shannon May has allowed a guy that lived next door to me. He's a drug dealer. He let anybody come over there and stay in his place, and the place, I mean, the people that he brought there brought cockroaches into this place. And, I mean, I was able to keep them out of mind for a time, but then she caused everybody to move out, except for me. And they're looking for heat, they're looking for anything to... So I'm infested by cockroaches in my house, and she's threatened to kick me out for the last 2 months. And then she said she had a place over on the west side. I live on the south side there, right across the bridge. She said she had a place over there. She's been leading me on about it. And now my place is infested with cockroaches. I mean, I have like 20 guitars, 30 guitars that are, I can't even take anything with me to move. How could I bring that to my neighbors? Because everything I have is infested with cockroaches now. And I need some...
Have you talked to code enforcement?
Yes, I have. I talked to them 5 months ago. And they said they would speak to her, and I guess they spoke to her, and she did nothing. She has done nothing. I did not have cockroaches when I moved in there. And I honestly would rather have snakes and spiders in my place than cockroaches, because cockroaches carry all kinds of disease, and they're the most disgusting thing. I mean, they're worse than rats that brought the bubonic plague. And I need some relief from that, because she's threatening to kick me out. I have nowhere to go. I can't, everything I own, I can't even take it. I'm going to have to leave there. Even, I mean, you guys might want to have this place terminated with somebody that would help you. She wouldn't help me. I called her. I said, hey, please, we can't do this one bit. There's 4 apartments in there. And so you can't do just one. I mean, even though I had no cockroaches at the time, this guy next door had the cockroaches. And
Mark, have you, besides code enforcement, have you sought out any other remedies?
I've called the police. The police came over yesterday.
I was thinking of the health department.
I
Rental.
haven't.
That's a rental,
Yeah,
correct?
yes, sir.
And the the property owners should be held accountable for the health and welfare.
That's all I'm asking, and I've asked her to help me. I mean, I was willing to work with her at the 4 months ago, 5 months ago,
I would say your best remedy, Mark, is to get a hold of the health department
and
have them come take a look at where you live, and they'll move.
again, I'm going to my next point. I have pictures on my phone of where I live and my alley. I don't know if you guys know it, but some guy moved a trailer into the space down below, or right across the alley from me. They destroyed it. I mean, they didn't save none of it. They weren't trying to save any of it. They just totally wrecked it, hosed this whole trailer, and left it laying there. And it's been laying there for 4 or 5 months. I don't know if any of you know this.
Mark, I'll speak to that again really quick. Pardon to interrupt. I've been working with our building inspector, Mike McCarg, on that particular issue on Sycamore. And I'll go ahead and touch base, talk with him again tomorrow, the next day or two, and then I'll report back what his new schedule will be. And I'll get a hold of you. I know where you live, and I'll give you that information. At this point, the only one that we can really rely on is our building inspector to, enforce that trailer issue. So I will speak to our building inspector, and then I'll come to your place and let you know what I find.
And one other issue, look out in front of my door. And you see a place that's got tarps flying off of it, and it's a fire hazard. There's trees laying down all across of it. I mean, I'm sorry if I seem rude or something, but, and this has been going on for months and months and months. And you all are have to be aware of it. That you see that, and you live. He lives up the street. You know what the place I'm talking about. It's
I do.
It's despicable, and you wonder why I have cockroaches. I mean, please.
We'll bring that
This
up
is
also.
Hannibal. This is Hannibal. And
We'll bring that up with Mike also. We appreciate that.
And I'll get back to you on both those issues.
Okay. We appreciate it, Mark. Thank you.
Thank
Mark,
you.
if you contact my office tomorrow, I will give you Frank's
Thank
phone
you.
number out of the health department on somebody to call and talk to directly. So call my office. Be nice to my office.
Yes, ma'am.
Very
Yeah,
different
I
today.
tried to.
But call tomorrow and I'll give you the number of who to call at the health department directly to talk to. Okay.
Can we go to the last issue about fines? My dog has been apprehended by the Hannibal Police Department, and they won't return her. They've taken her out to the pound. Look, my dog.
Mark,
She is so hard-headed.
Mark, before you get any farther on that, that's not a city council thing. That's between you and the police department to get figured out.
Okay, but how about some fines that I have that I went to court and I agreed to plead guilty to one. I was going to pay a $120 fine. Well, I got halfway through it, and all of a sudden I went down there and I was like, "Hey, I'm halfway through my fine," and they said, "No, you got 4 more fines." Well, the prosecuting attorney, the assistant at the time, he dropped all the other fines, and he said, "If you plead guilty to this one fine and pay $100, $20 fine, I'll drop the other ones." And I've tried and tried. Okay, I paid through half of it, and all of a sudden they said I had 4 more fines. That's not what we agreed to. They agreed to drop it. And all of a sudden the assistant prosecuting attorney at the time is no longer there, and I can't get a straight answer from them. I want to pay the rest of my $60 fine.
Mark, that's not what happened. But
Sure.
you owe the fines you owe. It's not
I'm
within the
sure I
council's
don't.
discretion to waive fines. It's between you and the judge. You'll need to address that with the judge. And Mr. Patterson does still work for my office.
I've tried to go to the court. I've tried to go to the judge. He doesn't want to talk to me. He told me to talk to the prosecutor. Prosecutor told me to go down to the courthouse, come down here, and they call the law on me. I just want to settle it. I want to pay the $60 I still owe them.
When is your next court date?
Well, when is my next door? Sir, you know that? Because we got to talk
I have no
about
idea
my
when your
dog
next one
fines too, because I think I have one.
Hey, we'll get back to you with the information.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mark.
Appreciate each.
Appreciate you being civil. Thank you. Okay. Gordon Ipson, Kiwanis Foundation, street closure and use of city property, arts and crafts, and more festivals.
Good evening, council members. Thank you for having us here. I can't remember whether this is the 47th or 48th consecutive year that the Evening Kiwanis Club is proposing to sponsor the Arts and Crafts Festival in Central Park, and we are requesting use of Central Park and closure of 4th Street between Broadway and Center. This year, our part of the festival will be July 4th, 5th, and 6th. That's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Our setup day will be July 3rd. Rest of the information is in the application. We have submitted the insurance certificates as required. One thing we did find out when speaking with Parks and Rec is that the bandstand is now going to be unusable or closed. Last night at our weekly meeting, the folks from the Steampunk Festival were kind enough to offer us the use of their temporary stage. So Parks and Rec said they could move some of the green benches back. We could set up the temporary stage down there in front. Figure way to make that work. So we respectfully request the use of the park and 4th Street for dates of July 3rd through 6th.
We have everything, including the insurance, already on file, so I'll make a motion that we approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. Nicole George, 1809 Hope Street, Sydney ordinance on house numbers.
My name is Nicole George. I've been an addict for the past 4 years. I'm now 80 days clean by the grace of God. And I'm starting a project that I've been thinking about for years. I'm happy to be finally putting it in motion now that I'm sober. So far, I have 9 fellow recovering addicts helping me with the project. It's called Addressing OD. It is aimed at helping victims of drug overdose, but could save even more lives than that. Every second counts in an emergency. We want to make sure that emergency personnel can easily find every address. We also want to make Narcan more readily available, as well as educate the residents of Hannibal on how to properly administer.
Microphone.
I'm sorry.
Nobody can hear what you're
Sorry.
saying. I didn't want to get too far. Nobody can hear what you're saying if you don't speak right.
Okay.
It's really loud.
Sure.
Thank you.
Every second counts in an emergency. We want to make sure that emergency personnel can easily find every address in Hannibal. We also want to make Narcan more readily available, as well as educate the residents of Hannibal on how to properly administer Narcan and when to do it. Our goal here today is to change the Hannibal City Ordinance regarding addresses. It currently is very vague and states, all address numbers shall be conspicuously posted on the front of each building. Nothing in this section shall prohibit the address also being posted in the front yard or painted on the curb, but such posting or painting shall not remove the requirement to post the address on the front of the building. The posting of addresses in Hannibal is a big issue. Addressing OD would like there to be some specifications regarding things like how big the numbers have to be, and if the house sits over so many feet from the street, a yard sign or a mailbox with a visible address should be required. We plan to contact some local businesses to help donate numbers for the addresses so that the money is not coming directly out of the pockets of Hannibal residents. After we have raised enough money to address all the needed houses in Hannibal, we plan to go door to door and install the new numbers on houses with occupying owners. The houses that are rented, we will contact the landlords to get this done. The first step in this project is to get the city's approval for an ordinance change to help our project run smoother.
Well, first of all, congratulations on being 80 days clean.
Thank you.
And, you know, take some courage to come up here and speak this time, so I appreciate that too. Seems like you've taken a big swing at something, and it's pretty cool. It's something that I've talked to my former council about in the past as a need, and I applaud the effort. I think it's a good idea. I personally can't commit to anything specifically until I see your language, but if you have specifics there,
I do.
I would love to see those and study them.
I've actually got one for all of you.
Awesome. Thank you. How did you come to be so impassioned about this particular issue?
I've had friends who have overdosed before, and just with my history of being a drug addict, you know, I've heard a lot about it. You know, I know I was a delivery driver for 10 years also. So I know that the addresses in Hannibal are pretty bad.
You've got a group of guys sitting right here that'll back you 100% on those house numbers.
Nicole, I'm a little unclear how the Narcan, did you say Narcan?
Yes, sir.
How does that figure into your organization? What's the tie-in?
It helps with the drug overdose.
Pardon me?
I'm trying to help with limiting the drug overdose deaths.
I'm not understanding. Are you advocating,
I'm wanting to
supplying Narcan, or?
I'm just wanting to make it more readily available and educate the Hannibal residents on how to administer it.
Okay. To city services or individuals?
To
I'm unclear on
individuals.
that, all that.
Yeah, to individuals of overdosing.
Okay.
Like I was thinking about maybe passing out a pamphlet or something just to
And
educate people.
that'll be a whole separate, it's not tied into the OG
right.
program. It's a completely separate program.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Thank you.
I can't speak for the whole council, but, you know, just taking a brief look at these, most of them seem pretty good, especially the one about avoiding spelling out numbers. I laugh because in my house they're spelled out. I've always thought that was kind of silly. But I don't think it would be prudent to take action tonight, but at least not me. I'd like to study this and talk about it some more in 2 weeks. And
We would have to put it in an ordinance form in order for it to pass, but it's,
Right.
you've given us a good start on it, so I appreciate that.
And if you could come back and hold us accountable, and ask us what our progress is, I personally would really appreciate that.
I will do.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Is that something we'd like to ask our city councilor to draft?
Can I suggest that perhaps you ought to seek some input from your constituents?
Sure.
Here's what I'm concerned about. I don't want to spend a lot of time working on this and constituents. I agree that general principle is probably. I know the residents of Hannibal. You start telling them what their numbers are supposed to look like on their house. I'm concerned that people, yeah. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe your constituents are going to go, I think it's a great idea. But I think you may want to give an opportunity to some comment from constituents before you start language. There ought to be mandated regarding sizes, materials, et cetera, et cetera. I see nothing wrong with this personally, but again, some people are very resistant to the concept of have to have certain styles of numbering, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
We should probably also check with 911.
Well,
What they do.
I'm betting what's proposed here is going to be fine with 911.
sure.
I'm just more concerned about your constituents giving a big pushback and then maybe there's less interest in it. And so my thought is maybe see whether or not there's pushback or see if people have particular points or interests. And then if we try to draft an ordinance, we everyone's input so that everybody gets an opportunity to talk to you guys.
and I can tell you for 911 for the county, they will order for people in the county it's a reflective sign. It's a white on green, and it's reflective, and be put on the mailbox, be put on a T-post or whatever. So I'd like to see them in the county too, but that's a different animal.
All right, under my name, next week, March 10th through the 16th is AmeriCorps Senior Volunteer Week, and I have a proclamation to hand out recognizing that. City of Hannibal proclaims next week, March 10th through the 16th, as AmeriCorps Senior Volunteer Week, where we can celebrate all the senior volunteers that work with AmeriCorps. Those that don't know, AmeriCorps is itself is 30-some years old, and is a very good service for all communities, not just. So I have a proclamation that we'll post downstairs or in here for that.
All right.
We'll have Melissa take.
And happen.
Mike Dobson.
I came before council last meeting and further clarified what was being asked of the UTV insurance amounts. And Justin Parker was so good to spell it out. I sent it to you personally on each of your emails, along with his phone number if you had questions. His suggestion is, it's $500,000 worth of liability, and it's broken up as such as it's in your packet. It would be $100,000 per person for bodily injury, and if more than one person in an accident is involved, it pays up to $300,000 and would also cover $100,000 on property damage. That would be the bare minimum. As set up by the state, it's 25, 50, and 25, so it's about 4 times of what's required by the minimum. He also provided what he was paying for his personal UTV, and for actually he's carrying higher liability limits than what he's asking for to be required, and that his higher liability limits are $150.50 a year. So we're not asking much of people that have these expensive toys that we've given the privilege to use our streets. So what he was asking, and I know it was insinuated that it was a moneymaker for him, but as you can see, $150 for a year's of liability on something that you're operating on the streets is a heck of a lot cheaper than what my car is. But so what I'm asking is for the council to approve the $100, $100 property limits into the ordinance, and deleting the line that says full coverage.
Premise of what you're getting at, my own understanding, help me out, is for your experience, volunteer fire department, common sense, these vehicles get in accidents, damage is higher than a normal vehicle.
Well, they're not equipped with side rails like a car would be. They're not equipped with airbags. So the potential for greater bodily harm is there. So therefore, the higher amounts are necessitated. to cover those costs, for hospital bodily injury.
Yeah, I think that's a totally accept. Those numbers are completely acceptable for that kind of risk. I'll make a motion to accept Mayor Pro Tem Dobson's motion or proposal.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There you go.
Thank you.
Andy, got a plethora of things.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Got a bunch tonight. First, I want to say thank you for the AmeriCorps proclamation. I actually, right after my first degree, did 5 months in Alaska with AmeriCorps, and it was the best time of my life. And so it's a good program.
It is an incredible program.
Yeah, we've done a lot with AmeriCorps here in Hannibal, and so that's a good thing.
Yeah,
So
Douglas Community Center is just it's outstanding.
yep. So thank you on that.
Andy, what was your project?
I did environmental work. So actually, what's funny is the Iditarod's going on right now. I did some of the work on the Iditarod Trail, and so a lot of things like that. So I lived in a tent for 5 months and didn't get to shower much. So.
Funny too, right?
Yeah. So first up, we have the dedication of stormwater for Fetty. The city engineer, Mark Ross, has reviewed that. Everything looks good. And so we're ready to go ahead and accept that.
Okay.
And there's an ordinance to follow.
Okay.
Next up, we have a bid award. We recently received our 1-ton snowplow truck, which is kind of on a regular rotation. This would be to add all the dump bed, the spreader body, the snowplow package. So Woody's Municipal Supply had a little bit of $50,995. Looking at about a 9-month turnaround. So hopefully get it in time for the winter. So
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
okay. Next up, we have 3rd Street. For those that don't know, the 3rd Street corridor, the city actually owns the parking lanes, and MoDOT is in charge of the driving lanes. Don't ask me why. That's just how it is. So MoDOT is getting ready to overlay that, mill and fill that entire area here within the next month or two. And so to be consistent, the city has typically went along with them on that project. And so Emery Sapp & Sons has provided a quote of $97,167 to do those driving lanes and then to fix, because I think it's right off Broadway, there's a pretty bad patch. They'll come in and fix that as well. So
Is that the location that's starting at the Mark Twain Avenue curve?
yeah, it's a little bit farther past that,
North
but it's in
on-
that, yeah,
just-
right in that ballpark, right around North Street
Okay.
to right around the viaduct. So
Okay. Up to the new construction, I imagine.
Can I ask a stupid question?
yes.
So is the parking lane, is it actually need to be replaced?
In a lot of areas, yes. So we've had some utility issues through there. It's old. If you don't do it now,
And come back and do it later.
it's going to be
more
breaking
expensive.
down, and
Sure.
then you're going to have all the seams are going to be different. It's easier and cheaper long term to do it all at once,
Okay.
because to get a milling machine down there is the big cost.
Sure.
So, just to get a milling machine to do, I don't know, looked at like Valley Street, it was over 30,000 just to get it here.
Okay.
So,
I just had to ask.
yeah, no, it's a good question.
That's a pretty good price. I really thought it would come in
Yeah.
a lot more.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
So that's a resolution to follow.
Yep.
Next up is a project that I've been working on for 17 years. So our charter, God love it, is very specific in some areas, and in our bidding language is very specific. So what's going on nationally is most cities are able to use a national procurement procedure, Sourcewell being the number one that everybody uses. So anytime you call up anybody to buy anything, they say, okay, are you with Sourcewell? And we go, we are, but we can't do that because of our charter language. So what this would allow, we worked with James, and James drafted this, would be just a simple charter change that would go to the next ballot that would allow us to use national procurement procedures. One example, I know all the chiefs have had issues. Lisa's issue, everybody's had issues with this as long as I've known. But one of the pieces of equipment we bought recently was if we went out for state bid or just regular bid, it was going to be $10,000 more than if we would have just been able to use Sourcewell. And it would have took 60 extra days to do it. So this is, the only reason to do this is because it saves time, it saves money, which is better for the constituents. It's projects going, and it is a long time coming. James and I and Lisa, and even back to Jeff Lagarce, we've tweaked the charter change many, many times. I think this is the simplest and easiest, and I think James would probably agree that.
I would agree.
Yeah. So
I think we tried to accomplish too many things at once the last couple of times we tried to do this, and it evolved into some contentious debate about different things. The only thing this charter change would do is allow us also to use the national bidding procedures. It changes nothing else about that section of the charter. So all of the protections to make sure that we're using the best bidding process possible is there, but it adds in the fact that we're able to take advantage of potentially lower prices using Sourcewell or similar. It doesn't specify Sourcewell. It specifies national procedures. It's nothing that lots and lots of other cities are not doing. And the thing that I would suggest to always remember is that our charter was drafted in the 1950s or 1960s. So certainly there was no such thing as this type of a bidding procedure back in those days. Was not even contemplated. But this is something that will save the people money and will expedite the bidding process. I have to say, I think it's an excellent idea, and we've attempted to address the other concerns people had in the past about, well, why do you want to change this? Why do you want to change that? We're not changing any of those things. We're just adding in the ability to use this bidding process.
Yes. And for those who don't know, Sourcewell being the largest one, still it's a government entity. It still follows the bidding procedures. Right. So it does all the bidding, but on a national level, which is able to get better deals and better pricing. So all these things are still going through a sealed bid process. Just we won't have to do every single one of them. So.
Mayor and Council, I'll just remind you that we already have upcoming ballot.
We're talking.
Yes.
Yep. Thank you. Next up, we have the TAP grant engineering contract. For everybody that doesn't know, we applied for a TAP grant to extend a sidewalk along Market past St. John's Lutheran and Eugene Field. We were awarded that grant. This is the first phase of that project, is to award the engineering side. So the contract is in there for you to review, a resolution to follow, and that's $56,334.78. And last thing I have, this has come up in the past, and I know it's going to come up, I think, next meeting.
Two times.
Okay. Okay. So when somebody requests to block Hill Street off, which is fine, no problems, it also renders the Wyman's Pavilion completely useless. We don't have any parking there. And so a couple times in the past, we've had an issue where it's been blocked off. No one can access it, and it's a huge ordeal. So what we're saying is if someone wants to block that, and that's completely fine with us, they either need to also rent a shelter, or we're going to go ahead on those and just completely take that off the shelter reservation for those days and not rent them, because we just don't want to lock somebody in. I know one of the organizations that's coming is wanting to rent.
We are currently in a situation where somebody might shut down. However, the pavilion is already
Right.
So if you shut that street down, that other organization essentially shut. It definitely is a situation. So very clear of it. But you do have a situation right now where somebody's going to come ask you to street, but they're already rented by.
So what if we close the street only a certain distance, leave the alleys open?
Won't make a difference because you still can't, you will be at access, but there's no parking. You can't,
And the alleys one way.
yeah. So we don't own the parking lots around there.
Right.
So if you want to come to the event, you're going to have to either park on Main Street or on the riverfront side,
Right.
which is a long ways if you're having a
Right.
big event. I could say one of them events coming up is a drive-through pork chop dinner. Can't really do that while you have all the streets closed off on every side of you.
Just have to make sure that any street closures, that we look at what's rented already. I mean, if the pavilion's already rented before Westford Street.
Yeah. Now, if we make it mandatory that you rent the shelter for $30, then it'll solve that problem. Or, like I said, if you want to say, okay, organization A, you could have this, we'll just not rent it that night. We'll just take it off the schedule. So, one way or another, that's just.
We just need to make sure that we have
right
that in place.
Yep. So we just wanted to make you guys aware of that because we know that's coming up next time.
So if we do,
It is coming up. So
Well,
you are going to have the situation quite often. So it would take, if they come to council and approve the street closure, not on that pavilion already operating, have the pavilion behind. I just want to put out there, messy, a lot of housekeeping to keep track of.
Sure.
I don't know what the recommendation.
Wouldn't it be easier, like you said, just to have whoever wants to close the street to have to rent the pavilion?
Yes, I agree with that.
I think so.
And
I
then
mean,
you don't have that confusion.
the organization that's coming, great organization, good event, but are looking at 6 or 7 Saturdays. That renders the main shelter completely useless 6 or 7 Saturdays. I don't know if that's in the best interest of the community, but if they rent it, that's part of their thing, then that's the prerogative. So
It is Saturday. We're asking like 6 or 7 Saturdays in a row in the summer. It would essentially make that pavilion useless almost every Saturday.
or once a month at least, yeah.
Yeah, at least.
So
All right.
food for thought.
All right. So we have, we need a motion to close the street for the, or is this?
Nope, we don't need anything to do. We're
don't
just
need
giving you
anything.
food for thought
Then never
because
mind.
this is coming up next time so that you won't be caught blind. So if you guys have any questions, just ask Melissa or I and we can help you. So
I had them on the agenda for I remember both of them.
Sure.
I'll bring them on the agenda next.
Chief?
Good evening. I'm here on behalf of Emergency Management tonight. When looking at our Code Red system, which is our notification system that people can sign up for emergencies, it gives us a lot of flexibility where we can send out text messages, emails, phone calls to people, and it automatically does so during weather emergencies. We were set to pay almost $29,000 this year for that service. So while talking to them, I was expressing an issue we had last year I wasn't really happy about. We got talking about the price, and we were able to get that down to $25,000, which is where it used to be before it started creeping back up. They've offered basically a renewal for $25,000 for the 1 year, which I think gives us a little bit of flexibility to kind of look and see what else is out there. It's a major endeavor to switch companies because we have so many people that are signed up on the system. I think it's over 12,000 people between us, Palmyra, and Marion County. And they're promising a new platform at least this year. So I'm going to wait and see on that, but I just want approval to do this so we can move forward, especially it's severe weather preparedness week this week.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Jake. Bill number 24-006. I need to have a motion to have the clerk give this bill a second and final reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Take a deep breath.
Deep breath.
So, bill number 24-00, an ordinance of the city of Hannibal rezoning a tract of land, all of Lot 4, McMaster subdivision of the south half of the southwest quarter, section 30, township 57, range 4, west, line north and west of Highway 61, now Clinic Road, except that part conveyed for highway purposes, and except 11 acres in the northeast thereof, described as follows. Begin at a point on the north line of said Lot 4, 100 west, northeast said lot, thence runs west of the line of said lot 242 a point, runs south parallel with the east line of said lot 474 feet, point of the westerly line of the U.S. Highway number 60, now Clinic Road, turns in northeasterly direction along westerly line of said Clinic Road to the point of B. All lines being in the city of Hannibal, Marion County, Missouri, from D Highway zoning to B multiple family and amending city zoning. Second and final.
I missed.
Did you? Councilmember Munger.
Yes.
Councilmember. Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes.
Councilman Frankie.
Present.
Yes. Sorry.
Yes. Sorry. Gosh.
Councilman Welch.
Yes.
Mayor Lauder.
Yes.
Didn't ask Charlie.
Yes.
Oh, since you missed him, do we need to read it all again? I declare bill number 24-006 duly approved and adopted on this day. Now we have bill number 24-007. I need a motion to have the clerk give this bill a second and final reading.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Bill number 24-0, an ordinance revising chapter 32 regarding changes to 30 Constitution allowing recreational use of marijuana. Second and final reading. Councilmember Munger.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes.
Councilmember Frankie.
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips.
Yes.
Councilmember Welch.
Yes.
And Mayor Lauderman.
Declare bill number 24-007 duly approved and adopted on this day. Now we have bill number 24-008. I need a motion to have the clerk give this bill a second and final reading.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Bill number 24-008, an ordinance amending chapter 7, building regulations of the revised ordinance of the city of Hannibal by amending Article 1, Section 7-25 building code by adopting the 2000 International Fire Code in place of the 2012 International Fire Code. Second and final reading. Councilmember Munger.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes.
Councilmember Frankie. Councilmember Phillips.
Yes.
Councilmember Welch.
Yes.
And Mayor Lauderman.
Yes. I declare bill number 24-008 duly approved and adopted on this day. And I have bill number 24-009. I need a motion to have the clerk give this bill a second and final reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Bill number 24-0, ordinance of the city of Hannibal amending the annual bid limits in accordance with section 9.13 of the city of Hannibal charter. Second and final reading.
Is it the second, final, and reading?
This should be
Right, there's one of these. One is changing the charter, one is changing the bid limit.
Right. Right.
Two different things.
Right.
okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Councilmember Munger.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson.
Yes.
Councilman Frankie.
Yes.
Councilman Phillips.
Yes.
Councilman Welch.
Yes.
I declare Bill number 24-009 duly approved and adopted on this day. Now I have Bill number 24-010. I need a
Mayor?
motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we table this one more time. There is still an issue between the homeowners association and the developer on a underground conveyance. They've asked for us to table it so that they can work with the developer.
Motion to table.
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem, who is the developer?
Brett Peters.
Right, Peter?
I'll second the motion to make it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Bill number 24-011. I need a motion to have the clerk give this bill a first reading.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Bill number 24-07, an ordinance providing for a municipal election held Tuesday, August 2020. Hannibal will consider amendment to the charter of the city of Hannibal in section 9.A6 to allow the city to utilize process procedure. State of Missouri cooperative bidding. First reading.
Now we have resolution number 2502-24. I need a motion to have the clerk give this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution 2502-20. Resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement between Hannibal, Emery, Staff, and Sons in the amount of $97,107 for the removal and replacement of asphalt along the parking lanes from Church Street to Oak Street. Councilman Munger,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson,
Yes.
Councilman Rocky,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Welch,
Yes.
and Mayor Lo.
Yes. I declare resolution number 2502-24 duly opposed and adopted on this day. Now we have resolution number 2503-24. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution 2503-24, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a $56,334 engineering service agreement between the city of Hannibal, Singer and Associates for the Market Street Sidewalk Tax Road project. Councilman Munger,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Dobson,
Yes.
Yes.
Councilman Welch,
Yes.
and Mayor Lo.
Yes. I declare resolution number 2503-24 duly approved and adopted on this day. I need a motion to adjourn.
So
Motion to
moved.
adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?